You were presenting something and that interrupted you, started rambling and started sharing, exerting his knowledge, and you are now feeling the pressure of how do I cut him off? You know you're very angry, you really want him to shut up, but you also don't believe in yourself that if I say something, I will end up saying something wrong and I will have a bad perception. So you don't know how to cut someone off. But when you talk about the real meeting, like online Zoom meeting, because that is what we are doing these days, and I have prepared all of these points, keeping in mind that as a professional, as a senior professional, what kind of a problems you might face while you are communicating with your bosses, with your DRs, or with your colleagues. Right? Some of these problems are don't know how to ask the right question. Right? Number two, how to cut someone off. So let's say, for example, you were presenting something and that bastard interrupted you, started rambling and started sharing, exerting his knowledge, and you are now feeling the pressure of how do I cut him off? Respectfully. You know you're very angry, you really want him to shut up, but you also don't believe in yourself that if I say something, I will end up saying something wrong and I will have a bad perception. So you don't know how to cut someone off respectfully.
The reason I was laughing is in our team there is one person called or not. No matter what the presentation is, he will ask always a question, and then on top of it, he will not agree, and that gets into. So everybody is so afraid, when anybody gives presentation, he'll cut anyway. That's
you will today. Now you will learn how to shut them off.
Okay.
You will use the tools. I will give you the tools how to deal with such kind of people.
Yes.
Respectfully. How to interrupt. Let's say, for example, someone is presenting something very, very important, but you have an opinion which is even more important. And you have less time. And you want to interrupt, but you're scared. You don't know. If you say that if I interrupt, I don't know how to say, what to say. And if because of the fact that I don't know what to say to interrupt, it might make my perception as bad in the eye of the other people. So I will give you verbal tools of how you can interrupt someone. If you have something important, how to handle distractions. So of course, during the meeting when you're presenting, there will be a lot of distractions. Some people will be turning off their camera, some people will unmute themselves, there will be background noise, and some people will ask unnecessary questions. You should know how to deal handle with distractions. Now correcting, so this is one of the most important art that you should learn. Correcting someone
Can I note down that points of the previous slides?
Go ahead. So correcting someone without offending them. So problem what happens is, it's a very tricky situation, Ibrahim. Okay. Correcting someone without offending them. So generally what happens that that someone is saying something and they're wrong at it. They got it incorrect. And you have that urge from inside and you want to correct them. But the problem is that you don't know what to say because you feel scared that if I correct him, he might feel bad. And to be honest, as a human being, nobody wants to be corrected.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be interrupted. You may end up offending them, and that is why you keep quiet. You say that if I correct him, even if it is for the betterment of the process, business, or the team, even if it is for the betterment of the person, you stop. You keep quiet. You don't correct them. Why? Because you doubt yourself. You say that if I interrupt him, not knowing what to say while interrupting them, it may offend them.
Sometimes it can be so toxic also that you might think it is a stupid question or you haven't validation and you feel, oh, I asked them.
No, so I am talking about, so there can be multiple scenarios. I'm talking about that situation where you know that you have a genuine and a strong contribution to make. You can make a difference, but you keep quiet.
Yes, that too happens also.
So for the scenario where you think that, oh, your opinion is loosely informed, your opinion is not strong. So you decide in your mind that it is okay. If I don't say interrupt, it is fine because I know whatever he's saying, whatever I'm thinking is more or less same. But if you know that he's absolutely incorrect and you are absolutely wrong, you have that conviction from inside that who's stopping you to do that. But now the problem is that you need to interrupt. But now you feel like, oh, I'll ping him separately. I'll message him separately.
Yes, happens.
I will message him separately. Or probably I'll speak to him one on one, not in the meeting. What he might feel.
Yes.
Not because you don't have the courage, it is because you don't have the skill of how to say someone. You can do the same during that meeting.
Yes.
You can correct them and still not offend them.
Yes.
It is
It's
just
not about
you don't know
knowledge.
how to communicate. Simple.
Yes.
So what are those examples? First, I want you to read it.
I respect your opinion and I'd like to provide some additional information that could be helpful. Great.
So when you say this, if they are the civilized person, they will not get offended. Right? 99% of the time it will work. How to say it differently? Read it.
That's an interesting idea, and I'd like to suggest a slightly different approach. Yes. By reading itself, thank you. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Let me offer an alternative viewpoint.
Right? When you say this, the other person will not feel offended. Rather, they will welcome that you are actively contributing. And you know what? You will also collect some rewarding points from the other people who are sitting silently and listening you asking the or contributing, asking these questions.
What you're doing is you're first giving him a credit of what he has said, and then
Of
saying you
course.
would like to add. That is constructive thing that you're doing, rather than directly
Now,
saying that
let's say, for
I
example, for the last
I
statement, Ibrahim, let's say for the last statement, I'm saying, okay, you're talking, and I'm all of a sudden I'm coming. Let me offer an alternate opinion.
yes.
They might feel like, oh, are you the boss or I am the boss?
Yes,
Are you the presenter or I am the presenter? So of course, it's a sandwich method, but people don't know how to express it. That's the problem.
I get it.